competitive, and because it's a loop, right?
Of course.
It's because it's a loop. There's some other dynamic in there that really boosts these numbers up, and so um, I'm able to I'm able to literally now look at how many times the show was seen, right? I'm able to get an average dwell time, right? And then I have a multiple of 2.5 people per room average, right? Which is pretty much a standard number by the Hotel Association. So, like in April, it was like viewed by 69,000. The show was viewed 69,000 times, and the viewing time was an average of about 18 minutes, right, each time. And then you take 69,000 times 2.5, right? That gives you the theoretical by industry numbers, people watching the show. You can never tell how many times. Even Arbitron can't tell you how many people were in the room, right?
Right, right. Oh, you're using it 2.5. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm using 2.5 per viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's one person in the room. Sometimes there's four,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's about an 89. We have about an 89% occupancy rate in Seattle, and so it comes out to like 189,000 viewers per month.
Mm-hmm. How many total?
Huh?
You're breaking up. What does the number work out to be?
189,000,
Bodies.
and that's just people finding it. That doesn't have any promotional, um, watch this channel
Mm-hmm.
magazines or concierge or other ways that you can boost viewership, right? And so I flew to Denver. I met with Sonify. When I was out of work for over 2 months, you know, and then that whole, I mean, this fucking thing's like a country song, man. I mean, I told you about my guy that's the star of the show, right?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
No.
That he got fucking busted by his boss. That his local. This is ABC TV in Seattle, Como,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like he did the show. He hosted the first show with his wife. He's doing all the production. Brought him in as a partner, and he's also a magnet. He knows everybody in town, so he's bringing advertisers in, including a casino for $9,500 a month. And
So he brought that client in? Your sales guy did?
Brought him in. Yeah, ready to my production guy, right?
Right. No, I know who you're talking about. I seen him and everything. And so what, he got busted on he's not allowed to do side jobs.
Well, so what? Yeah. So, but his local bosses said, gave him the go ahead. When I did the deal with him, I said, you just got to get their approval that you can do this. And he not only got the approval, but they let us use their studio and gave us some spots and some B-roll.
Right.
And then, but they're one of like 100 something U.S. television stations owned by a company on the East Coast called Sinclair Broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read U.S. news at all, they're the guys that are in the headlines all over the place, because what they're doing is they're starting to write their own news and starting what the president calls fake news, and making the local stations read it, right? So, which I'll send you this article. I just found this article this morning, and they're fucking revolting. I mean, the news people are quitting.
Wow.
And it's just fairness. But what happened is the guy from Sinclair came and staying at one of the nicest hotels, the Olympic Hotel in Seattle, and he was watching TV. He saw the channel, and shit hit the fan.
Oh.
And Guard that's a big gig for him. He's a fucking local celebrity, makes a pretty good amount of money. He's got a wife and two kids, and scared bejesus they were going to fire him.
Mm.
Even out in the local management, fucking just back down. So he goes, Mark, I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, he ended up doing the show. I ended up spending my money and I bought the show. I can still run the show. He just can't participate. And then I bought his stock back.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other partner, who was the president of the hotel, the general manager of one of the hotels, well, one of his guys, who'd been with the hotel, this is the fucking nicest boutique hotel in Seattle, right across from the Pike Street Market, across the street. The CFO of that hotel, they have a new owner, and they fired this guy, got rid of this guy who was the CFO of the hotel for 18 years. They fucking got rid of him. David's got the shit scared out of him and says, Mark, I got to go too. So, they were worried about their primary jobs,
Yeah.
and he didn't have any reason. He was just being, so I ended up getting his stock, so I got all the stock back, right? I got the show. But those 2 months, and then my sales guy, who wasn't that good anyway, fucking both parents, one just died. They're on the East Coast. He goes, I can't do this. I got to go take care of my. So he left.
What a story, man!
I know.
And
all of a sudden, and I'm not from here. I don't fucking, I can't sell.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been 3 months now with no new sales.
Right.
And I've fallen behind by a couple of payments with Sonify. $7,500 a month.
I thought they reduced it down to $5,000 or something.
Well, they'll do that for San Francisco, right? They said, look, we know that's
hold on. Sorry, how does that make any fucking sense? Seattle's a smaller market than San Francisco, but anyway, you shouldn't be complaining.
Well, they just know that it's like a big impediment. They go, well, next time we do it around. The good news, so I flew there and I spent 2 hours at lunch with them,
Right.
And I had this group over here that was really interested, but they basically said, Mark, you gotta be able to gauge the eyeballs, And all I had is
sorry, gauge. Gauge. I don't understand by that comment. You mean track?
You got to. You got to be able to measure watchers.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. This guy is an anchor for the NBC, another news guy, and he goes, I was talking to my sales guy about this, and he goes, "Fuck, what a niche! What a targeted niche." But he goes, you got to be able to measure viewers, right? Mm-hmm. And at that time, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is, this could be, in this day and age, you need trackability. So I hopped on a plane, I flew over there, and they fucking, I got Sonify to the point where they love this programming because I told them, I said, you used to be LodgeNet. And here's the reason that LodgeNet fucking went belly up. One, they didn't keep up with technology. They got lazy. They didn't innovate. They didn't stay with the time. And two, they'd come into a city. They'd make a bunch of money on free-to-guest television that they provide to the hotels and pay-per-view. And then they bag town like a bunch of carpetbaggers, taking the money. They don't reinvest anyway in the local market. Mm-hmm. I said, but here in Seattle, visit Seattle and the Hotel Association now have, because of you, Sonify, they now have a channel that helps spread information to tourists, making their stay better, and they get to the programming is to encourage people to come back to Seattle in shoulder seasons. Right. So now with our content, you guys have got a banner. Fucking should be doing press releases. Mm-hmm. And then when they start really looking at the numbers, they go, holy shit. So they go, look, Mark, we'll work with you on it. We'll work with you. We're not just going to cut you off. We'll work with you on getting Seattle paid up. We know that you were sick. We think you're an innovative honor to us, and we like what you're doing, and we want to give you. We'd like to give you 10 cities, you know.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out how to, I got to figure out how to raise the money,
Yeah.
and it's not that much, in the scheme of things. And then also, and then go down and I figured my best way to do this right now, because I got a few people floating around that are really interested, is to go down and secure San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to do that sooner rather. Now's the time to do it, you know. And so and at the same time replace my sales position here in Seattle. So I met earlier this week or end of last week with the CEO of Visit Seattle. He goes, Mark, we don't have any money, we can't help you, but we'll help promote it. And I said, well, there's two there's what about a publication? I go, well, you're reading my mind. There's two groups that I want to talk to because this is perfect for a magazine, as you and I've always known, right?
Yeah.
It's a differentiator, it gives them a competitive advantage. And there's one company, there's obviously Where magazine up here, but it's pretty thin. And then there's another one that prints their official visitor guide called Saga City. And Saga City has got a big thick book, and they got a Rolodex. They already have ads, and they got competition like everybody else. Their book is probably half what it used to be when I started looking at it.
They're all half. Yeah, right? They're all half.
They're all half. So they need something. So I'm tracking him down, and I never wanted to build these things and operate them. I wanted to build them and then build more and then find local people. I don't want to sell anymore. I don't want to manage it anymore. I just want to find the niche, find the network, design the innovative parts of it, and then turn it over to local operators.
Right.
So, but I always wanted to sell it because anytime I built something new, I feel like it's important to sell it myself so I know what the challenges are,
Mm-hmm.
And we sold a bunch of them, but I put them on short terms, because who knew I was going to be laid up for 2.5 months? Who knew I was going to lose my staff, right?
Right.
So a lot of these, I've still got a few, and I'm still billing, but, something needs to happen. So they're working with me. I talked to Sonify yesterday. When I went to Seattle, they said, we'll give you the analytics. I think those analytics put in the right way kind of alleviate all that tracking issues that everything else has these days.
Right.
So Sonify, you got to have. I mean, nowadays, everything you buy, they're expecting. It's not like the old days when I was building shit, and they go, well, let's give it a shot. See what happens. They demand, analytics. They demand viewership numbers. They demand, all that stuff.
But are you saying you have that, but they want to know how many people made it to the website opposed to how many people?
No, I'm not even I don't even factor my website in because it's kind of in my case up here. It's just it conflicts with what they're doing. Business Seattle's not been a real fun client. They got some real stuffy little snotty fucking millennials running the marketing department. And they got a big budget, and they're producing. The good news is I get a bunch of fucking really nice high-end content that blends into my show pretty well, which makes us look good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And plus my own stuff that I did is fun. People like the show, that we did. And then you blend in some of their cool stuff with like this guy that, who's the lead guitarist, David Grove from the Foo Fighters, talking about growing up in Seattle. I got Harry Connick, I got Dan Marino, I got a bunch of, so I got a little, plus his cool spots. So I got a good demo to move forward with. And now that I got these analytics, I thought, well, now's the time to go down to San Francisco. And the first thing to do is to call Kevin, right? And Kevin's just, Kevin's probably making $12,000-15,000 a month. Hasn't changed his show since fucking Pierre Trudeau was prime minister in Canada.
Hey, Mark, I just realized that I got to take my mom to a doctor's appointment in 14 minutes.
Okay.
So but that's a wild story how all the guys had to get backed out just by chance. Yeah. So we can.
I mean, it's like the perfect storm.
Right? I'll be back in an hour and a half, so we can either continue later today or we'll do it this time tomorrow.
Well, why don't you give me a call later today if it works?
Okay, good deal. Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Bye.